It's November the 26th, 2022, and this is episode 924 of Tips from the Top Floor.
Tips from the top floor, tips from the top, alright, from the top floor.
Hey, hello and welcome, it's Chris. You are listening to Tips from the Top Floor, the longest running photography podcast on the planet. I am back and hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And I hope you recovered from your food coma. Yeah, we don't do Thanksgiving here in Germany, but a few years ago I did have a proper Thanksgiving, and yes, I did fall asleep on the sofa, so I feel you. Good times. Let me see. Oh yeah, quick update regarding my hearing loss thing. The lost frequencies on my right ear, they're almost fully back. Yes. Unfortunately, there's still some noise left, some tinnitus, mostly. And as I have a professional background in audio, it's interesting because I could tell the doctors and the technicians who did the sound measurements and stuff. I could tell them exactly my frequencies and stuff that was happening. They were quite happy. That sped things up. So I have an 11 kilohertz tinnitus, which I've had for years. It's just a bit louder now, and some minor 800 hertz hum on my right ear, which comes and goes depending on who knows what. Stress, not that much more than usual, so I don't know. And yeah, it's fluctuating, so might be a few more weeks for me to be able to say if this stuff is gonna stay or not. No one knows. Tinnitus is strange, and but hey, it's all at a very manageable level, and it's so much better than 3 weeks ago. So yeah, I'll be all right. I'll be just fine. Okay, big piece of news. Took a while. You might remember the scouting tour I did in summer in August for the Eastern European photo road trip. That's now that you can book. It's open. You can book now. Just a quick recap for those of you who don't know. I will be doing 2 photo tours, a road trip style, from Berlin to Dresden to Prague to Vienna to Budapest to Transylvania. And that's the first tour, and the second tour is the same in reverse. So the first one starts on September the 2nd, 2023. So that's next year in September, the 2nd, and ends on the 11th so it starts in Berlin and it ends in Transylvania on the 11th of September. And the second one starts on the 14th of September in Transylvania and will go all the way back to Berlin and end there on the 23rd. So both of them are 10 days long. Both will see the same cities, and both will take place in my Tesla Model 3, which it's an electric road trip. And the main reason I did that in summer was two main reasons. First of all, to see some of the sites that I hadn't seen, or some of the cities. I had never been to Budapest before, so I definitely had to check out a few things there, and I needed to see if it's feasible to do this in an electric vehicle, which turns out, it's a no-brainer. It's easy. There's nothing to it whatsoever. And just a few questions, because I have received questions from some of you. The tour will take place in that 2021 Tesla Model 3. It is one of the best suited EVs for long distance travel. The ride is very comfortable, and the global charging infrastructure is really good. Also in Eastern Europe, so we will be able to not just charge on like the Tesla owned superchargers, but on pretty much every charger that's there. So no range anxiety whatsoever. Charging stop lasts on average. I do have logs. I took notes. Charging stop lasts on the long trips with a fast charger lasts on average about like 20 minutes, 19 minutes, I think. And that every 2.5 to maybe 3 hours. So it is perfect for a short pit stop. and to stretch your legs. The size, that was another question. How does the size work of the Model 3? Let me put it this way. If you haven't been in one, it's a TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside. There's no engine, right? So it comes with pretty much 3 trunks. There's a normal trunk. There's a trunk under the trunk, like a sub trunk, which is big enough to hold like a carry-on luggage piece or something like that. And then there's a front trunk in the front that also holds stuff. Also the floor in the car, like if you're in the back seat, the floor doesn't have the gear tunnel, so it's flat. So worst case, you can put a photo bag or something on the seat in the middle and on that floor space in the middle that is not used. So it's easy, no problem. Actually, in summer, I did some driving around with friends that visited 2 adults, 2 kids, and myself, plus luggage, like big travel luggage for everyone. And that was not a problem. So I'm not worried about that part at all. Second question was, why not a bigger model like a Model Y or a Model X? You could rent one for the tour. Yes, I could. But that was another reason why I did the scouting tour, to get a better idea about the streets in Transylvania, the parking garages, the size of things. You'll have to believe me, the Model 3 is perfect in size. Anything bigger is going to be less fun, for sure. Good balance of flexibility, of mobility, of comfort, and so on. That's the main questions that I received regarding the vehicle. And there is a secret, there's a bit of a secret URL right now. You can actually go online, discoverthetopfloor.com, which used to be the URL. It still is, but I have a special site set up with more details that I'll surface. I'll still have to work a bit on it, but it's workshops.discoverthetopfloor.com. So that's kind of the new workshop website that I've been working on, workshops.discoverthetopfloor.com. And that has all the details. You can get, send me an email. Let me know if you have questions. 1 seat already sold. So out of those 2 times 3 guests that can come, 1 is already gone. And I expect that to be relatively popular. So let's see. If you want to come, make sure you get on board quickly. And if you have questions, shoot me a mail. I'll be happy to hop on a quick video call to discuss details. This is also this is like a private tour, right? This is a small, very small group. So while I do have an itinerary, it's easy to change that around and add interesting different things. And if there's something specific you want to see, or if you have questions and so on, let me know. I'll be happy to do a quick chat online or a video call. All right. Workshops.discoverthetopfloor.com. Let's get into the 3 things I want to talk about, 2 pieces of news, and, well, one thing to think about. Made me think a lot. Okay, let's start with the news. Interestingly enough, I don't know where that came from, but there's a class action lawsuit against Fujifilm right now because of the X Pro 3, which, is one of the great cameras. Fuji makes amazingly good cameras. Whenever I teach someone and they have a Fuji, it's not the first one. They keep going back to Fuji. The haptics are amazing. The image quality is great. They have these great film simulations from their film stock, from the Fuji, different Velvia and Provia and what's on stocks. But the X Pro 3 seems to have had an issue. Apparently there's some ribbon cable in the camera that wasn't reliable, and the class action lawsuit is about them advertising reliability. Well, this is something about the American legal system that I don't know, that I don't fully understand. Anyway, a second piece of news. Panasonic is gonna pivot in some respect. And we're talking about their compact cameras, like the LX series, which like the LX10 or the LX100 or Mark II. They've been great still cameras. But in an interview, their CEO, what's his name, Akira Toyoshima, said that the company is shifting away from some of those cameras, and they want to shift towards video and towards portable TVs. Okay, we'll talk about this later. The video part. Not very surprising. The smaller cameras, I mean, they've been under constant pressure from smartphones, pretty much. It's the predictions that I had and many others had when the smartphones started becoming better in terms of cameras. Bigger manufacturers, and all of them are shifting away from compact cameras. There's no market anymore. The smartphones have taken over there, and for a good reason. They're good. They are really good. So that's not surprising. But so Panasonic wants to shift more attention towards. I think they mean the GH series, which still this weird type of hybrid. The GH series is it's a still camera. First and foremost, but of course it's not. Everyone uses their amazing video capabilities, so the video has been important, but they're still in the form factor of a still camera, and they still, there's a whole ecosystem around the GH series now, and Panasonic, I think, should put even more focus on that. So that's the right thing. The other thing from that interview is this television thing, which is really interesting. So the CEO said that, here's a quote from the interview: "We will deliver new value by adapting TVs to people's actions, such as allowing people to carry TVs around and instead of gathering around them. I don't know the time frame, but in the future, this type of TV will likely replace existing TVs." Huh? What? All right, so we're in the middle of a transition from away from television. The actual television, yes, there are TV sets in people's homes, I know, but there's an entire, at least two generations growing up right now that have a TV, and that TV is called their phone. And it's in their pocket, and they carry it around, and they don't gather around it. It's a media consumption device, and even if some people still have the TV set on the wall and watch it there or have it on, I know in the States, for example, that I've seen a lot of households where the television is constantly running somewhere in a corner. Yeah, the times are shifting, and if we look at developments in the AR, VR field, they're within a few years from now, those will all turn virtual. You'll have as many TVs on as many walls as you want in a virtual form sooner than you think. So that reasoning that people don't want to gather around TVs anymore and want to carry them around, that is already reality. And I don't think that a new TV product is going to change that. So I don't know. Panasonic. Anyway. Okay, here's the thing I actually wanted to talk about for this episode. When's the last time you bought a piece of kit? And how much did you use that piece of kit? Because according to a camera reseller, MPB, never heard of them before, and a market research firm, Sint-Kint, according to these guys, the US population is hoarding $650 billion worth of tech devices that they don't use. And that if you do the math, if you look at how many people are adults in the US, that'll bring the average per US adult of unused technology to around $2,500. $2,500 in your drawers, in your cabinets, lying around that you don't use. And I'm I'm 100% sure that I'm talking to exactly those people right now. You, and you. I see that guilty look on your face. And I don't exclude myself here, okay? I'm part of you. I'm one of you. I'm as guilty as they come. Probably more guilty because me teaching photography, holding workshops, doing photo tours, I always have a great excuse, a perfect justification. I need this for work. And it's tax deductible. Now, photo gear here is more expensive here in Germany than in the States. Our VAT is 19%. So that's a good chunk. Makes me feel better about buying something. And of course, I do use these things on workshops. I'm just thinking about like the biggest workshop that happens locally here is the annual Abbey workshop. Next year, that'll be including myself and Boris and Monica. That'll be a total of 35 people for an entire week in this old abbey, now turned into like an educational place. 35 people, Monday to Saturday. I will, of course, bring a ton of stuff, like I do every year. Like, really, I'll fill up the Tesla up to the roof. But at least some of these things don't get much use during the rest of the year. Some of those things are mostly there for the workshops. Now, let's go back to those numbers. If you break out the 18 to 34 age bracket in that statistic, it goes even higher. From 2,500 average adult unused tech to $3,700 per adult between 18 and 34 in the United States. So yeah, I think that's a huge number. What are the kinds of things that we have in our cabinets, in our drawers, on our shelves? For me, I mean, I'm looking around here in my podcasting studio. Lenses, sure. Cameras, 2 professional DSLRs, and more not so professional cameras, but still cameras. Several cabinets full of smaller stuff, like just the periphery around photography, like cleaning stuff and filters and tripods and equipment to attach things to other things, that kind of stuff. And seriously, I mean, I could probably live just fine with less than half of that. And by the way, having less stuff at your fingertips when you do creative work, that's a boost for your creativity. Every time I've had to be creative, or let's say every time I had to do creative work and I lacked something to make it happen, that's what boosted my creativity. That's what got me thinking, hey, I'm thinking outside the box. Wow, I need to get this result. How do I achieve this without my super magical XYZ thingy machine, whatever? Yeah. So having to think outside the box, yep, that's a good thing. Sometimes, I mean, if it's your job, yeah, of course you want to have the tools for it. But if it's not, then less gear makes you more creative. So yeah, I'm seriously thinking about what could I ditch, what is not really that necessary, and what would still allow me to do what I want to do as fast as I need to do it, and hold the workshops and not be in the way of those. So yeah, that would free up quite some space. That would free up mental space too. Because the more things you have, the more you'll have to keep track of the stuff you have. The more you'll have to manage. The more you'll have to keep clean, to handle, to, I don't know, ultimately forget I do remember situations where I bought something because I either forgot that I had it or it was in a camera bag, in that third camera bag back there that I didn't fully empty out the last time I used it. And I had, at one point, I had two 50mm 1.8 Canon lenses. The plasticky one. I had that twice because I thought I'd left it somewhere on a workshop somewhere. And of course I didn't. I found it later. So, yeah. And I can't count how many times I went, where did I put XYZ again? Is that upstairs? Or is it in the Villa showcase? Or is it in one of these drawers? Or is it one of those 3 photo bags? It's ballast. It turns into a burden. Anyway, back to the statistics. In contrast to all that hoarding, the average household in the US spends around $500 on technology per year. Yes, I know, for us nerds, it's probably a bit more. But if you have a habit of hoarding unused technology, you could probably easily finance your spending by selling what you don't need. Especially as half of the US population report that they have never traded in a used tech item to get a new one. Weird, isn't it? I've sold stuff. I've done several bouts of like eBay sales and stuff. Yes, eBay is still around. So yeah, why not? Might be worth it. Anyway, here's what you can do. Let us all know. Share your shame. Go to tfttf.com/hi and let us all know if you're one of those of us. If you're one of us, let us all know if you're one of us. If you have an unhealthy tech hoarding habit, and let us all know what you're doing about it. I'd love to hear your voice. So you can, if you go to tfttf.com/hi, you can attach audio, but you can also just type something in tfttf.com/hi. Let's know if you are a tech hoarder. And that was it for this episode of Tips from the Top Floor. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to keep this show, if you want to keep receiving this show regularly, hey, subscribe. Go to wherever you get your podcasts and your podcast player of choice and type in Tips from the Top Floor. You'll find it. Click subscribe and then you get it every week or however often it comes out. Of course, you can follow Tips from the Top Floor on the Twitters at TFTTF Photo. That's TFTTF PHOTO. And again, drop your feedback for the show at tfttf.com/hi. Write something, record something, voicemail. That's at tfttf.com/hi. Thank you so much. If you can, of course, please support the show at Patreon, tfttf.com/Patreon. That is, that's where many of you support my little habit of podcasting, and it helps keep the lights on. I'm eternally grateful for your support. tfttf.com/Patreon starts at $1 per episode. Thank you so much. And again, if you want to be part of the Eastern European photo road trip from Berlin to Dresden, Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Transylvania, or the other direction in September 2023, go to workshops.discoverthetopfloor.com. That's workshops.discoverthetopfloor.com. Let me know if you're interested. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. All right, that's it for today. Go out and take amazing photos. Be extra super nice to each other. And of course, happy shooting.